2024 Mega Tins are officially available, but is the set even good? How's it going, everyone, and welcome back to another video. We finally have the official set list for the 2024 Mega Tins available to us, and this set is massive. There are 400 cards in this set, including reprints from each of the last 4 core sets released in 2023, as well as a couple of other sets released along the way. So in this video, I'm going to go over the tins and talk about the cards in this set. I'm going to go over some of the best cards at each of the rarities so you know what to look for when you're opening it. I'll also go over some pros and cons of the set itself, that way you know if you should be buying the product sealed or not. And also, just like every year, there's going to be some archetypes that are almost completely available in the Mega Tins, so I'm going to give you some of my favorite ones that are available in this year's tins too. But first, if you're excited for the video, then do me a favor and smash the like button, and of course subscribe to the channel for more amazing Yu-Gi-Oh content. But with that being said, it's time for us to find out just how good are the 2024 Mega Tins. Let's jump into it. So each Mega Tin has 3 Mega Packs, and each Mega Pack has 13 cards at different rarities. There's going to be 1 quarter century rare, there's going to be 1 prismatic secret rare, 3 ultra rares, and then 8 commons. Now all this is available for $22, which is pretty expensive when you think about it, but the trade-off is you should be able to round out your collection for a lot of different cards that were available within the past year or so of Yu-Gi-Oh releases. But there are over 400 cards in this set, so pulling a singular copy of a card you want is going to be very difficult unless it's a common or ultra rare. And obviously, because there are 400 cards in this set, there are going to be some cards that I just don't talk about in this video. So let me know which is your favorite card that I don't mention in this section as well. But the first cards I want to talk about are going to be the brand new world premiere cards in the set, and there are 3 of them. They are the Primal Being, Mind Castlin, and Heavy Polymerization. I'll be honest, none of these cards are really insane. I mean, sure, they all have their utility, but I don't really see enough application for these cards to see consistent play. Sure, Thea has a lot of hype behind it because of the Nibiru lore, but its floodgate effect just isn't restrictive enough and it's not a consistent threat. Mind Castlin is basically just creature swap but in synchro form, and Heavy Polymerization is just poly from the extra deck when going second. Now all 3 of these cards are available as secret rares, which means they're going to be very difficult to pick up a playset of, and in my opinion the only one that I'm going to be grabbing is going to be none other than Heavy Polymerization, because it does have some impact going second in certain decks, so I want to have it just in case. But one of the biggest appeals for this set is going to be the QCRs. A ton of cards are being given that QCR treatment because they have a special place in the history of the game to celebrate the past 25 years. Now, they made some really good choices, for example with Blue Eyes White Dragon, but why on earth do we have Coach King Giant Trainer and Idol Supreme Magical Force as QCR upgrades? To me, it feels like they split their QCRs into 4 different categories. Cards that are nostalgic, meta-relevant cards for their time, anime cards, and then the leftovers. So QCRs really aren't my thing, at least for playing them in the main deck, but I do see the appeal of collecting them for various reasons, and these are the ones that I personally plan on grabbing myself. The 4 Exodia pieces to complete the set with the head of Exodia from last year's tins, the old school anime cards including Blue Eyes White Dragon, Dark Magician Girl, the Seal of Orichalcos, Scapegoat, Winged Kuriboh, and Yubel, the Remainer Signer Dragons and Ultimaya Zolkin to pair with the other Signer Dragons from the 2023 tins, individual extra deck cards like Relinquished Anima, Guilty Gearfried, Cosmic Blazar Dragon, Axel Synchro Stardust Dragon, Utopia Double, Number F0 Utopic Draco Future, and Link Spider. And then just these other miscellaneous cards you see on the screen right now. So the majority of the cards I spoke about are either going to be one-off individual cards or more collectible cards at that. And they did include a lot of archetype-specific cards in the QCR section, which is really cool, but it also feels like they just chose the wrong cards at that for each archetype. Like, for example, why do we have Phantom Knights of Silent Boots as a QCR, but not Phantom Knights of Rusty Bardish, which is going to be like the iconic card of this set, at least in the modern age? I don't know, it feels like they could have done just so much more with these archetype-specific cards. But what about the secret rares? Well, first off, these are going to be prismatic secret rares and not standard secret rares, which does play a role in my opinion, because I'm not the biggest fan of what the prismatic secret rares actually look like. I always prefer the ones from the core set, so that does play a factor in my mind. But at the same time, secret rares from the tins are actually going to be much more difficult to pull than a secret rare from a core set, which is kind of weird when you think about it. Because there are 100 secret rares and each tin comes with 3 secret rares total, that means you have to open up at least 34 tins just to see a singular copy of every secret rare in the set. But that being said, there are some really good secret rares available, and these are the ones that I really like. SP Little Knight is still obviously the best card in the game in my opinion. If you don't have it, you should definitely look to pick up a copy. Triple Tactic Thrust is one of the most highly sought after reprints, being a staple in some formats, mandatory for a few decks, and just a great card to have in your collection. It's a shame it's still going to be expensive. Bonfire is not just for Snake Eye decks, but for all these awesome decks with Pyro monsters that are coming out. Transaction Rollback is great for trap-based decks, and even with Beatrice's banning, the card is still pretty solid. Imseti Glory of Horus is the main playmaker in the Horus engine, which in the right deck is incredibly powerful. Superstar Slayer Typhon Sky Crisis is a card that everyone should have in their collection to help deal with big problematic cards. You should also pick up powerful synchros like Bestial Dispatter, Chaos Angel, Centurion Legatia, Crimson Dragon, and Trident Dragion. Hashtag Ask a Friend. I also really like the alternate artworks of Raigeki, Harpy's Feather Duster, Dark Magician Girl, Indication, and the others. There are also a ton of other great secret rares, but they all for the most part are part of an archetype in the set. So you can pick up archetypes like Centurion, Vanquished Soul, Snake Eyes, Gold Pride, Branded, Manadium, Unchained, Rescue Ace, or even the missing Kashtira cards that haven't been reprinted yet, and more. So yeah, there are so many amazing secret rares in this set, but because of the actual size of the set list, it's really hard to pull the one you want. I just feel so bad for someone who's going to turn around and say, you know what, I'm going to spend my hard-earned money on a tin, try and get an SP Little Knight and end up with a token instead. That would suck. As for the ultra rares, the majority of them are archetype specific, so just keep that in mind. But some other cards that I think are really good that you should pick up are going to be Ashura King, which is a great rank 3 monster that is amazing for just negation tools, and in my opinion is only a matter of time before it gets used consistently in certain decks. I also really like picking up the Pearly engine. I think it's a really strong engine to have, and it's extremely budget as well. And I also recommend picking up a Chimera engine too, because the deck itself can be very strong with the right engine cards. And of course, rarity upgrades to TCG exclusives like Q-Belt the Blade Dragon and Golden Cloud Beast Malong are also really solid choices. There are 150 ultra rares in this set, more than any secret rare, but because you're pulling 9 ultra rares per tin, it is more likely you pull a given ultra rare you want than a given secret rare that you want as well. And honestly, looking at the quality of the cards in the ultra rare slot, I don't picture any of them being super expensive because they don't really seem that impressive compared to the cards in the secret rare slot. The commons are also going to be incredibly low cost because nothing in the commons section is really that impressive outside of archetype specific cards. But that's the general idea of this set. Now let's talk about some pros and cons. Starting off with the pros. Firstly, reprints are reprints. Even though they're still hard to pull, it's better that there's another printing of a card than there isn't one. Secondly, because of the QCRs, they're pretty cool for collectors, especially those who like the anime. Third, alternate artworks are really cool. Seeing alt arts in core sets would be really cool, but for the time being we have to stick to seeing them in the tins. And finally, there are a lot of archetypes available, so you could build a really strong deck using the cards from the tin. As for the cons, first off, this set is massive. There are just way too many cards in the set. The 2019 tins, which introduced Nibiru, Dark Ruler, and Dimension Shifter, only had 270 cards compared to 400 this year. The second con is that almost every single good card is in the secret rare spot. It'll be way too hard to pull an individual secret rare that you want, and because of that there won't be a significant decrease in the price of certain cards from where they've been in the past month or so. Third, there are some weird QCR choices. I get they wanted more QCRs because they're likely wrapping up with this rarity after rarity bonanza, but did we really need QCRs like yellow, red, and green gadgets? And lastly is the higher cost. Now it's not a huge change, but the MSRP of the 2019 tins was $20 compared to $22 for this year's tins. That's a 10% increase in price in a 5-year time. And yeah, inflation is a thing, but the 2019 tins were arguably the best mega tins ever, and it's been all downhill from there. And the cost is just one reason why. Look, am I gonna buy a tin? Yeah, absolutely. I want to support my local OTS and have fun with my friends opening up the product. But I'm not buying it because I want to support Konami in this specific instance. I feel like this set is so bad compared to where the tins have once been, and that really is a big shame. Now, if you were to ask me, should I spend my $22 on the mega tins or on just singles, I would say 100% of the time, you should pick up the singles in this scenario, absolutely. Especially if you're on a budget. The chances of pulling a money card like SP Little Knight or Triple Tactic Thrust are way too low, so it's not worth the risk. I'm very disappointed with the contents of this product, and I know that I'm not alone, so I'd recommend not buying this product sealed unless you know the risks involved when buying it. But you know what the worst part about this set is? Tokens in the secret rare spots. Anyways, if you enjoyed the discussion, leave a like on the video, comment your thoughts on the Mega Tins down in the comments below, and subscribe for more amazing Yu-Gi-Oh content. Thank you for watching, I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll see you all next time.